Welcome to the Dark Room Debates. Tonight, we dive into a question that shapes American life. What is the real difference between racism and prejudice? These two words are often thrown around interchangeably, but they carry very different weights. My goal isn't to take sides, but to help all of us understand what's at stake when we talk about these issues.
Prejudice is a bias, an assumption we make about someone based on race, gender, class, or appearance. It can be individual, personal. Racism, on the other hand, is structural. It's when prejudice is combined with power, laws, and institutions. It's when an entire system disadvantages people because of their skin color. That's the core distinction.
I hear that, but I think sometimes we overuse the term racism. If every biased thought or action is labeled racism, we dilute the meaning. I believe racism is real, of course, but not every uncomfortable interaction, not every bad look, is systemic racism. Sometimes it's just human prejudice, sometimes ignorance, not a coordinated system of oppression.
So we already see a difference in framing. Evelyn emphasizes systems and history. David focuses on individual actions and language. Tonight, let's break this down carefully, because words matter.
Let's be clear. Racism isn't just personal dislike. It was written into law. Slavery, Jim Crow, redlining, segregated schools, these weren't isolated prejudices. They were institutions designed to benefit one group and exclude another. When Black families were denied home loans for generations, that wasn't just prejudice. It was systemic racism shaping wealth in America.
I don't deny history, but I also think we've made massive progress. Civil rights acts, affirmative action, diversity programs, all these show that America recognized its mistakes. My concern is, if we keep teaching younger generations that they're forever trapped by history, aren't we holding them hostage to the past?
History doesn't disappear when laws change. Think of wealth. If one family was able to buy land in the 1940s and another was denied, their grandchildren start in different places. Evelyn, would you say that's the lingering impact?
Exactly. Racism created the gaps. Prejudice alone couldn't have done that. And until we acknowledge that racism was systemic, we can't understand why disparities remain today.
Fast forward to today. Many Americans ask, if laws have changed, why do we still see racial disparities in policing, hiring, health, even housing?
Because systems evolve, but bias remains embedded. Black drivers are more likely to be pulled over. Resumes with white-sounding names get more callbacks than identical ones with black-sounding names. That's not coincidence. That's systemic.
Or it's complex. I run a business. I hire people all the time. I don't check names. I check skills and attitude. Yes, there are bad actors, but is it fair to say the entire system is racist? I think sometimes personal responsibility matters more. Study hard, work hard. You'll succeed regardless of skin color.
With respect, David, studies show otherwise. A Black college graduate often earns less than a white high school graduate. This isn't about effort alone. It's about barriers.
Okay, let's cool the temperature a bit. I don't want this debate to end with me moderating a boxing match. Let's breathe, but also keep pushing deeper. Let's step away from data for a moment, share personal experiences. When did you feel prejudice or racism directly?
I was followed in stores as a teenager. Security guards assumed I'd steal. That wasn't just personal prejudice. It was a stereotype fueled by systemic racism that sees Black bodies as threats. And it still happens to me, even as a professor.
I'll share too. I was pulled over at 19, driving home from work. The officer said I fit the description. That moment branded me. Prejudice? Maybe. But the system allows it to happen over and over.
I'll be honest. Once, walking at night, I crossed the street because I saw a group of young Black men. I realized later it was prejudice. It wasn't based on anything but fear and stereotypes. That shame still sits with me. I share it not to justify it, but to admit bias lives in all of us.
Thank you, David. That honesty, that's where conversations like this grow.
We need systemic reforms, better training for police, fair housing practices, accountability in hiring. Without policy, prejudice will always scale into racism.
I disagree. You can't legislate away human hearts. Families, schools, culture, those matter more. Teach respect at home, and prejudice declines naturally. Government can't fix everything.
Maybe both are needed. Evelyn, policy without culture change is incomplete. David, culture without policy leaves loopholes. Isn't this about a both and rather than either or?
I won't compromise on calling out systemic injustice. Without naming it, we pretend it doesn't exist.
And without emphasizing personal responsibility, we risk teaching people they're powerless.
So perhaps the real challenge is balance. Justice demands systemic reform and cultural renewal. America may need both to heal. We've wrestled with history, data, and stories tonight. One thing is clear: prejudice and racism are not the same. One is individual, the other systemic. But both wound our society.
And recognizing that difference is the first step toward change. If we blur the terms, we blur the solutions.
I still think we overuse racism, but I admit, I see more nuance now. These conversations matter. Even if we disagree, we can walk away with greater understanding.
Tonight, we faced one of America's toughest questions. Is it racism or is it prejudice? Evelyn and David gave you their truths, but what about yours? Do you believe racism is still a system alive today, or is it just individual prejudice blown out of proportion? Don't just watch, speak. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Challenge us, challenge each other. And if you want more raw, unfiltered debates like this, hit subscribe and ring the bell, because this dark room only exists if voices like yours keep it alive.